to my channel Lovers of English Literature. Today, friends, we are going to discuss about J.S. Mill, contribution to utilitarianism and liberal traditions. Friends, today's video is going to be very interesting. These concepts that today I'm going to discuss with you are very complicated, so I have need your strong attention. So please be careful. Without wasting any time, let's start our video. First of all, we will see his short biography sketch. He was John Stuart Mill was a 19th century English philosopher who was born in 1806. He was also a politician and utilitarian. He was a disciple of Jeremy Bentham. Jeremy Bentham was his father's friend, who was the pillar of utilitarianism approach. His father James Mill and Bentham had a great influence on Mill in his early days. He was homeschooled by his father James Mill. Homeschool means he didn't get any formal education as today children get from schools and universities. He learnt Greek at the age of 4 and at the age of 7 he had learnt Latin. And the one interesting thing is that he was equally proficient in both languages. At the age of 13, he had the knowledge equal to any college graduate. He became Secretary General and Research Assistant to his father, and at the age of 17, it was very tough for people to get the job and employment in East India Company, but he was so sharp and intelligent that he became successful at the age of 17 to get employment in East India Company. He lived under the authority of his father a very hectic and monotonous life. First of all, we will see Mill contribution to utilitarianism. Second, we will discuss his approach to liberal tradition. So, friends, what does he say in utilitarianism? Mill accepted the basic claim of utilitarianism that action which provides pleasure and avoids pain is morally good. It means those actions that provides maximum pleasures. These are actually the principles of utilitarianism. Utilitarianism means to exploit the actions, to perform action in order to get maximum pleasures. He also said that it is the consequence of the action that decides whether an action is right or wrong. Mill believes that whatever the consequences are, if the consequences are good, it means the actions were good. If the consequences are not good, it means the actions were bad. So he doesn't believe in actions. Actually, he believes in consequences. What are the results actually? What are the results? Whatever the result of the action would be, we will decide according to those consequences and results. Mill rejected Bentham's claim that all players are quantitatively equal. Mill said that players are different qualitatively. It means he said that all the players that are sensational, materialistic, and some other players moralistic and materialistic, these all players are not equal. He claimed that some players are lower and some players are higher. So, as he exemplified, for Mill, poetry is better than Pushpin. Pushpin is a play for children who play this game and seek happiness for just some moments. After that, there would be no pleasure for them. But the person who read poetry, he seeks moral pleasures and intellectual pleasures from poetry, and this pleasure will be forever. On the other hand, Pushpin players is just for some moments. So that's why he prefers moral and intellectual players over or to materialistic players. It is better to be human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied. Human being is intellectual. If uh, human being is dissatisfied at some point, it is better than satisfied pig because pig doesn't differentiate differentiate his relatives and his siblings. He doesn't have any concept of religious and moral. So that's why, dear friends, a moral and intellectual man dissatisfied is better than a satisfied pig who is focusing on just materialistic approaches. It is better to be a Socrates dissatisfied than a fool satisfied. It is also very interesting idea that a rational and intellectual, if is dissatisfied, it is better than a fool satisfied who doesn't have any sense. Mill attitude is wholly based on utilitarianism approach. As he states, greatest good for greatest number as the end result of human action. Whatever the actions end would be, it would be actually for the greatest happiness. So that's why he defines higher pleasures as mental, moral, and aesthetic pleasures, and lower pleasures as being more sensational pleasures. Sensational mean, I have told you, friends, uh, materialistic, and the pleasures that are just for some moments. For example, if we are having ice cream, after having this ice cream, after some moments, there would be no taste. And if we read poetry, if we read if we practice mathematics, if we uh, read or study noble works, these pleasures are higher than ice cream. So this is the major difference. Mill is in a view that happiness is the sole end of human action. Whatever man performs, he performs just for the sake of happiness. Mill also was very utilitarian regarding women's contribution to society for the good of society, as he says, greatest good for the greatest number. Mill believes that the women who are half of the population, their services should also be utilized. Women should also be given the chance to work face to face men so that we may get maximum good, maximum welfare for the society. Now we are going to discuss, dear friends. I hope you are enjoying very much this video, and one part has been ended by me, and now we are going to discuss the second part of the video, Mill on liberal traditions, his contribution to liberal traditions. So let's start. Mill on liberty. What does he say on liberty? Mill was a champion of individual liberty. He asked when it is right for the society to interfere with the liberty of an individual. For in order to make understand others, he introduced a principle named harm principle. Society can interfere with the liberty of an individual only to protect itself. An action An action can be restricted only if it is cause harm to others. He categorizes actions into two categories: self-regarding action and other-regarding action. Harm principle basically deals with that whatever individual wants, let him do whatever he wants. If a person who is having or drinking wine in his apartment alone, let him drink because he is not harming to others. He is though it is injurious to health, but it is limited to his own personality, so that's why he should not be restricted. If the same person after drinking a lot of water comes on the road and drives and harms many persons, injures many persons, and he also destroys the property of public, so no government and society can interfere with harsh harsh punishment, with heavy punishment, and can restrict his actions. Mill on freedom of expression. He also talked a lot of freedom of expression. Mill considered freedom of expression to be the most important liberty. Mill was concerned with individual development. Individual development means increase in one's rational capacity to think, and this is possible when one is allowed freedom. Mill says that man should freely express whatever he wants, and he should debate, he should take part, he should take part in debates, in talk shows, so that he may express his own point of views, In this way, his rational capacities and mental capacities would expand to large extent. So here, he said truth is never absolute and complete. We can get to a higher level of truth by having free debate and discussion. It means truth is not a scientific activity. It is an absolute concept and phenomena. If we discuss and debate more with other people, our ideas would be shaped in better shape. So that's why with discussion we can get the higher degree, higher level of truth. Mill famously said that minority opinion must never be suppressed, even it is wrong or right. If the opinion is right, the society will correct itself. If the opinion is wrong, the society will stand vindicated. He said if the minority opinion must never be suppressed because if minority, it is not always happen happens that majority is on right side. So that's why we should also listen or hear the opinions of minority. Maybe minority is right and majority is wrong. If this happens, majority will be saved from committing such mistakes. On the limits to the authority of society over the individual. It means individuals, what aspects should be governed by individual and what aspects should be governed by society by living in society. He holds that a person should be left as free to pursue his own interest as long as this does not harm the interest of others. In such a situation, society has jurisdiction over the person's conduct. It means a person should be left as free as he wants. He has been criticized by many critics that it is the unlimited liberty that should not be given to man because man is violent by nature and so on, etc. So, dear friends, he says he should be left as free as long as he does not harm to others. If he is not harming to others, he is not destroying the property of others and public, he should be left free. If he does so, he should be given heavy punishment. Freedom of women. This is the very interesting part. Some critics criticized John Stuart Mill for his name as, I would like to mention, a feminist philosopher. He has been called as a feminist philosopher because he raised his voice in the favor of women's rights. So he was so much concerned with the rights of women. So that's why many people suspected on his attitude towards the women's right. As a writer caricature by Spy published in Vanity Fair in 1873. Women's suffrage. Let me clear what is women's suffrage. Suffrage means the right to vote. He actually criticized the male-dominated society. Why are they not giving the rights to women to cast a vote? He said, I want to share his one quotation. Under whatever conditions and within whatever limits men are admitted to the suffrage, there is not a shadow of justification for not admitting women under the same. Actually, here Mill is criticizing the male-dominated society where the women don't have right to cast a vote. He asserts that women should also cast a vote and should also explain or express their views. Mill tempted people to get contribution on who were half in population for the good of society. As he states, we should seek the greatest happiness for the greatest number. He was very much utilitarian in his approach because he was in his view that women should also contribute. Women who are half of population, such a great sum, such a huge sum should not be neglected. Women must never be neglected. Half of population women should we should utilize the services of women in every field of life. We should get advantage and profit from the services of women. Women should also work shoulder to shoulder man if we want to get progress in society by leaps and bounds. Will was not just a theorist, he actively campaigned for the women's rights as an MP and was the president of the National Society for Women's Suffrage. Mill condemns male and female discrimination as he states, I deny that anyone knows or can know the nature of the two sexes as long as they have only been seen in their present relation to one another. Until conditions of equality exist, no one can possibly assess the natural differences between women and men, distorted as they have been. What is unnatural to the two sexes can only be found out by allowing both to develop and to use their faculties freely. Mill was very much conscious regarding the women's rights. He said that we should see in practice that what women cannot perform. We didn't give any chance women to perform shoulder to man. So how can we make an authoritative statement that the women are inferior to man? If it is, please, he said, please let women work shoulder to shoulder man freely, and there would be we see the result that women are not less than men. Mill attacks marriage laws, which he likens to the slavery of women. As his men, there remain no legal slaves, save the mistress of every house. He raised the voice for the mistress of every house. Mill asserted that women were not to be neglected. As he defines, the legal subordination of one sex to another is wrong in itself, now one of the chief hindrances to human improvement, and it ought to be replaced with the perfect equality, system of perfect equality, admitting no power and privilege on one side nor disability on the other. It means, he says, that the legal subordination, even in government, uh, legislatively, people discriminate women. He condemns this. He says women should also take part in every activities. We should. This is the chief intention. We prevent women from doing freely works. This is the chief intention in the improvement of society. So that's why this should be replaced with the perfect system of equality. Perfect system of equality means men and women are equal and they should perform freely their mental and rational capacities, and we should utilize these faculties for the good, for the sake of society. Mill was very sharp. Even he also talked about the education and economy. Mill believes that the government run education is an evil because it would destroy diversity of opinion for all people to be taught the curriculum developed by few. He was in a view that the government run education is an evil because the people who was policy maker who would develop, some people who are in parliament who would suggest the syllabus, some few people, that syllabus will have to study whole the country. So it is an injustice that some few peoples have developed and a majority, the majority are studying, sorry, majority is studying. So it is not good according to him. He concludes that free markets are preferable to those controlled by governments, while it may seem because trade is a social act. He asserted that government should not impose too much taxes on business. Trade should be free. Government should not restrict with a lot of policies that the business community will face difficulties in raising products, in producing products. So trade is a social act in a sense that the people should do freely. Government should impose tax to some extent to survive, not to full extent that the government, that the business would be destroyed. So that's why these about the his Brighton's idea that we today discussed, dear friends. My videos, the same video is also available in Urdu, so the friends who are unable to understand in English language, they can also get advantage by watching the same video in Urdu pattern. So dear friends, these were the Brighton's ideas of John Stuart Mill, and today's even his ideas are regarded one of the best and Brighton ideas in the favor of politics, in the favor of women's rights, and in the favor of utilitarian approach. So these were the three aspects that we covered today, and dear friends, If you like this video, please don't forget share, and please subscribe my channel so that you may get my new videos. So for next video, goodbye dear friends.